Hello, everyone. I hope that wherever you may be, that you are staying safe and being cautious and aware. While all this is happening out here in the world, one of the things that kind of keeps up. Hey there. One of the things that I keep getting questions about is during this global pandemic, everyone's preparing for it, everyone's getting their supplies ready, and people have been asking me, clients and other singles have just been messaging me, Instagram, Facebook, should I keep dating? I was gonna meet this person, what should I do? And so, I wanted to take this opportunity to kind of address those questions, because I'm sure that the people that are messaging me are not the only ones. And if you're watching this, you probably have the same question. So if you don't know me, my name is Michelle G. I'm a matchmaker and relationship expert. And so I want to talk to you about, during this global pandemic, during this time, should I date? Should I not date? To date or not to date, right? It's the question that's on everyone's mind. So I'm here to share with you kind of my perspective and to reassure you that although everything outside of the world has kind of paused, everyone's been quarantined, I would suggest to you, or let you know actually, that love doesn't just stop. You know what I mean? One of the things that we are practicing right now is social distancing, right? Social distancing is only really used in measures like that. It's used as a measure like this to be precautionary, to not gather large groups of people. But just because there's, people are practicing that out in the external world doesn't mean that you can't date still. Love doesn't stop. All right. So I want to share with you, one of the things, for those of you who don't know, I served in the Marine Corps. I served for 13 years. And one of the models in the Marine Corps is be flexible, adapt and overcome. That is like one of our mantras, adapt and overcome. So one of the things that the Marine Corps really taught me, and really teaches everyone that served, is to be innovative. And so I'm here to tell you that innovation, this isn't about thinking outside the box at all. This is not about that. This is really about identifying what that box is and being able to step outside of it and not just think about it. This is such a great opportunity to be able to find love. Okay, so I'm going to share a quick story with you. I actually have a client who, shout out to her, she knows who she is. I have a client who is actually getting ready to go on her first date. And when I mean first date, I mean her first date. Like, she's going to meet this guy. Now let me give you a little bit of background and context. She was introduced to this guy at the end of February. They've been talking nonstop ever since. They have a really great connection, really great chemistry. And so they had planned the first meet for a little bit later, not knowing that this was going to happen. They figured everything out. Flights were booked, hotels were booked, and everything was moving forward. And then all of a sudden, like, this coronavirus hits here, home in the United States. People are saying, hey, this is turning into a global pandemic. What do we do? So the conversation that I found myself having with the client is, and let me just say this before I say that conversation. Some people are all about, like, I'm just going to go ahead and practice social distancing and not even date. And some people are like, you know what? I'm still going to date. I'm still going to go out there. To each their own. I'm here to tell you that you can still date, even in this era, even in this time. So back to the story. So I'm having the conversation with my client. I'm like, hey, I just want to check in, make sure that everything's all right. How are things going? And I also want to chat with you about whether or not you're still going to meet up with this guy. And she's like, yeah, of course I am. We're going to take the precautions that we need to, but we are still going to meet up. We may move our plans to a little bit sooner to meet up. And so I had her and a couple of other clients ask me, all right, Michelle, everything is closed. Like, you can't go to bars, you can't go to a coffee date, you can't go really and do all the things that are traditional for a first date. So what do you suggest I do? So my advice and my tips are going to be for two different individuals, and I'm going to identify them. The first set of tools and tips that I'm going to give you is for the individual who has already had some sort of face-to-face whether it was a video call, a phone call, has had some interaction with the person that they're going to date, not just cold turkey, they're going to meet up on a blind date. My second set of tools and tips that I'm going to share with people is going to be around if you've never met the person and you're just coming off of online, a introduction and so forth. Okay, so bear with me. All right. So as I'm talking to this client, they've been talking again for 2 weeks, great chemistry, they're about to meet. They decide that, hey, we're just going to move our trip up because in case they shut down, travel or make it difficult, we're still going to go ahead and meet up. I am committed. He's committed and she's committed to the process of meeting up. So I had to get creative and I'm like, okay, what kind of things can they do that, number one, ensures the safety of both her and him, also takes into context what's happening outside in the world, and also what are some fun, innovative ideas that, are respectful, are fun. It's an opportunity for them to date in a different way than what would traditionally expect, right? Out to eat, out to a movie, bowling, whatever it may be. So here are kind of my ideas that I shared with this client. And I encourage you that if you are the individual who's been talking to someone, you've had a phone call, you've had a FaceTime date, I'm going to suggest to you that these are some great ideas for a first date. Now, we're not completely quarantined at all, okay? We're not completely quarantined at all. But, we have to be socially responsible and be smart. So some of the things that I recommended to my clients is, number one, to make sure, and I'm sorry that the phone keeps moving, it's because I don't want to put it on the stand because then it's going to cover my microphone. Number one, the gatherings right now, what's being advised is to keep it to 10, the most 10 people at the most to get together. So I would recommend that if it's just a one-on-one, you can go out for a walk. You can go out for a walk at a national park, depending where you are and where you live, right? We're in Miami. We can go for a walk around the block. We can go for a walk up and down a strip mall. I mean, it just depends where you are. If there's a trail, if there's an opportunity for you to be able to go for a walk with that person, you and that individual, that's a great first date. Have the opportunity to walk together, talk together, okay? Again, a reminder, this is if you've already had a video date, if you've already had a conversation with them over the phone, then this is my suggestion. Number two, now keep in mind, she is flying over to meet him and he's driving to meet her. So they're both going to meet in a locale where they have to kind of research what they're going to do. So hiking is a great way, going for a long walk. Another suggestion would be, again, and this is if you've already met the person, video or phone. I can't stress that enough, and I say that for safety reasons. You could do something like maybe cooking together. Cooking together is such a great way where, number one, it helps you see as a first date how you both interact with one another. How good are you guys working together as a team? What are your strengths? What are his strengths? What are her weaknesses? What are his weaknesses, right? It really gives you an opportunity to have that type of date indoors where you're both together. You guys bring in some food, go shopping, bring in some food and cook together, conversate, and really are doing an activity that can get you guys talking about all kinds of different topics, okay? One caveat on that is I'm going to say, like I tell all my clients, and this is just, safety measure. If you're going out on a date with someone that you've met online, offline, blind date, whoever it may be, always contact someone and let them know where you're going to be, who you're with, and what a word is, like in case they text you one word, what's a safe word in case they need to be able to you to call or bail them out of the date or something may happen. And this is just precautionary. Now with this particular client, both him and her have been introduced. I worked with another matchmaker on this, so she's vetted him out, I vetted him out. There's been a lot of extensive checks on both ends, which is why I recommended that to the client, that they both can get together and cook together as a couple to get to know one another. Another suggestion that I have is board games. You can play a lot of, there's plenty of games like Uno, Scrabble, where you can play one-on-one, and it's a great first date. Why? Because you have to get away from your phone, you have to put technology away, and all you do is interact with that person that's right in front of you. And not to mention, you're getting some intellectual stimulation as well. You're exercising a different part of the brain. Every day we are on our phones. We have learned to interact with the outside world through our phones. So although we're being told to practice social distancing, so that way we'll flatten the curve, that way, we won't we can reduce how fast this virus is spreading. Think about it, guys and girls, we are always on our phones. So now the only difference is you can't go outside and use your phone. So why not use it to your advantage, right? Another really great date idea that I suggested to this client for a first date was for them to do something like a blind taste testing. What is that? All right. So maybe they both go to the grocery store, get a bunch of different ingredients that neither one of them see, get a blindfold or a shirt or a bandana, chop things up, and then kind of do a blind testing, to see how good their palate is, to see if they can identify stuff. It's such a great way to have fun. You can cut up 5 different cheeses and maybe throw in almonds or ham in there, or throw in broccoli, or throw in a spice that they have to smell. The whole point of it is to really create that emotional connection between that person. You see, when you're going on a first date and you've already talked on the phone and you've already talked on FaceTime and you've had what's called a virtual date, when you actually get in front of that person, what you're really trying to do is create a human emotional connection in person, right? So what a better way during this time than to do it by using all your senses. Smell, your sight obviously won't be used, but you have your taste buds, you can hear, you know what I mean? Why not use your senses during this time? It's a great way to be entertained, have a great first date, have good banter, and also you never know what kind of other chemistry it's going to spark. All right, and my other tip in terms of dating and during this era, and if you're having a first date, is you can do something pretty cool, for example, such as besides board games, besides blind taste testing, besides cooking together, something that you could do is arts and crafts. And I know that this sounds so childish, I get it, all right? But if we really think about, when we lose that kid-like dream nature, it really has to do with us growing up and being in tune with, life and things that happen in life, responsibilities and all these other things that come and kind of turn us into adults, but not just turn us into adults, but also take away that dream kid-like nature and spirit. This is a great opportunity as a first date to do something fun like arts and crafts. I suggested to my client, listen, go to Target, go to Walmart. They're probably open. You can get something like paint by the numbers, get a bottle of wine, and you guys can paint by the numbers together and drink some wine and get to know one another and keep talking and be entertained. You know what I mean? I didn't suggest, while a movie night is great, I didn't suggest it to my client because I wanted them to do something that was interactive and that would really create that emotional connection, that would really get them to be in each other's essence. I don't know if a lot of you have watched, I was late to the game on this one, but I just watched Love is Blind. And I know that a lot of people in my industry have been talking about this series from Netflix. And I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. And one of the things that I walked away from it, and I think everyone did, was the fact that these dating pods, right? You never get to see one another, and all you do is hear each other's voice and ask each other questions and really create, again, that emotional connection. And so now my advice, I'm shifting over to give advice to how do you have a first date when you've never met the person, you've never talked to them on the phone, and you're just meeting them from online, right? So let's see what we can learn, or let's look at that show to be a learning point for us as individuals, that human connection, love doesn't stop because there's a global pandemic or anything that's happened. We still have that need we still have that need to connect. We still have that desire to want to communicate and talk to someone, right? So in Love is Blind, for those of you who haven't seen it, just a little teaser. I recommend that you watch it, whether you're married or coupled up. I just recommend that you watch it. These two individuals, these people basically speed date through these different pods, but they never see each other until they meet someone that they're compatible with and they make the decision to propose. Holy crap, you've never seen this person and you're going to propose to them. So if you're dating online, which right now is a great time to date online. Why? Because everyone is online. I mean, online dating, I can't remember who it was that put out the research recently that they've spiked by over 60%. So people are actually, turning to online dating and more open than ever, probably, to have a virtual date, to actually respond back to messages, to actually get on the phone with someone, right? So I say take advantage of that opportunity. Are there going to be people who are still going to act the same way they've always acted? Yes. Move on. Block, delete, and move on from those guys or those girls who don't want to respond to a message, or don't even waste your time. Tell them thank you, because that's not the right opportunity. And thank you everyone for tuning in. If you have questions, please post them in the comments. I'm happy to answer any questions, right? So to get back to the whole topic. So in Love is Blind, as these people are speed dating and they're not seeing one another, but yet they're forming this really emotional bond, this emotional connection. And they're in their minds, as they're listening to this person's voice, they're just imagining what this person looks like. And they're wondering, like, their facial expressions. People today, if you're online dating, you've already seen the person, you read a little bit about them, so why not give them an opportunity and have a virtual date like this? A phone date, a FaceTime date, a Zoom date, a WhatsApp. I mean, the tools are limitless. You can use Facebook, you can use WhatsApp, you can use Instagram. I mean, you can use even Facebook privately. Hello, if you don't want anyone to know that you're meeting someone from Facebook dating, which is another opportunity to date, hello, go ahead, select on the top where it says private, just you, that other person, select private, and you guys can both go live and talk to one another. Nobody will ever know. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is that the tools are available for us to continue to find love. And love doesn't stop. I keep repeating that because I want you to know that now than ever, it's really easy to feel isolated, really easy to feel like, oh my God, I'm just going to stop living my life because the rest of the world has stopped living their life or things are on hold. No, this is the best time. This is the best time for you to take a chance and take a risk, because here's the truth of it, folks. Like, we are wired to want to emotionally connect, feel, love, embrace. That's what we want. No matter, any single person that has ever said to me, you know what, I never want to be with someone, I'm just going to be alone for the rest of my life. You know what? They're lying to themselves, because we all yearn to have someone to hold, to love, to inspire us, to make us better, for moments like this, to be there with us. You know what I mean? So this is a great opportunity to date. So what I'm saying to you is, if you're single and you're dating, right? Hey, go ahead and just explore one online dating app. So let me make that clear. One online dating app, folks. Don't go crazy and start signing up for 7 different dating apps. Hell no, because you can't manage all that. One dating app. Pick one that's right for you. And if you're not attracting the right people, then it's kind of like you're going to Target to buy one of my favorite shoe brands are let me see, what is his name? I just had it and I lost it. It's like going to Target to buy Michael Kors or Vince Camuto. If I'm looking for Vince Camuto shoes, or if I'm looking for Michael Kors shoes, I'm not gonna go to Target. I'm gonna go to Nordstrom Rack. So be aware, like, whatever dating app you're choosing, make sure that it's the right dating app or dating site that will allow you to attract or find the right caliber of people. And if you don't know who you're looking for, you don't know what the right site is for you, I suggest that you reach out to me, send me a private message, or post a comment, and I am so happy to help you find love, help you find what is the right website, what is the right, how to position yourself online. Because let me tell you, right now is the time. If your online dating profile isn't up to speed, you should get it up to speed. This is the perfect time to be online dating, have virtual dates. All right, so to wrap this up, hey everyone, thank you so much for joining in. I hope that this advice helps you. And by the way, if you have single friends, single people, feel free to share this with your friends, because trust me, this is, although everything else in the world is kind of doom and gloom, I'm here to tell you that myself, along with a lot of people who are in my industry, all the other love angels, we want to make sure that we spread the love and we promote love, because it's out there, it's available, it's still going to happen, it doesn't stop. So let's say you're online dating and you've met someone and you're like, I can't go to a coffee shop, everything's to go. What do I do? What kind of dates should I have? All right, so here's my advice on that. You meet someone online, you take it to offline. I would suggest, if you have a phone call, great. If not, a FaceTime chat. Listen, and this is something I'm going to talk about later, not today, but have a FaceTime chat. Put some effort into it. You know what I mean? And have a great FaceTime chat right here. Interact with people, laugh, just be yourself. Make sure your setting's great. You know what I mean? Or as best as possible, and have that. A perfect or a great first date, maybe you guys chat the first time, and maybe the second pre-first date or second date, whatever you want to call it, maybe you guys both play a game together. And as the emotional connection and the relationship begins to build, as the dating kind of gets going, maybe the next thing that you guys can do together is, besides playing a date, maybe you cook together. Maybe you just put them on you're there cooking, they're there cooking, and you guys are talking and interacting. People, we have so many tools to be able to date virtually, so why not? I have so many clients that, as a matter of fact, their requirements, because of whether they're high profile or because of just being, they want to be more private and discreet. A lot of clients that I work with, matchmaking clients, they say, hey, I would prefer if the first introduction is actually going to be over video, or could we do a Zoom, or could we do something, because I kind of want to see before I fly out there, drive out there, get dressed, spend the time, spend the money, whatever the case may be. I want to make sure that at least, number one, this person and I have a good connection, like we have some chemistry, and that's perfectly fine. I mean, that's what a lot of my clients require, so I'm they're okay with it. Some people, they want to meet in person. However, unfortunately, during this time, it can't happen. So it's just an opportunity for us to be innovative and to not just think outside of the box, but actually think like there is no box. You get to make your own rules in this. And you get to really dictate, okay, this is what feels comfortable for me. This is what feels safe for me. So those are my 3 date ideas. If you're meeting for the first time from an online dating platform and you want to have a date but you can't meet somewhere, hey, you can do something like doing a virtual cooking, you can do a virtual date, you can do virtual board games. Pretty much anything that you can do in person, you can also do it virtual. It's just a matter of just doing it, and be open to it. You never know who you're gonna meet. My clients know I say that all the time. Open yourself to the opportunity. And let me be honest, if you're a person who's watching this and you're saying, hell no, Michelle, I'm not gonna date, I'm just gonna avoid it, I wouldn't go to a man's house, I wouldn't do this, or I wouldn't go to a woman's house, hey, that's okay. That's perfectly, if that works for you, that's fine. But I'm just here to remind you that love doesn't stop. And I would say, don't use what's happening out in the world as even a further reinforcement or excuse to say, oh, I'm not going to date. This isn't the time to date. Like, oh my God, I shouldn't date, I think there's a deeper question that you need to ask yourself. Because if you're using this as an opportunity to say no to dating, I would say, what is deeper? What's lying there deeper that maybe you need to kind of work through to see what it is that's really blocking you or preventing you from dating. You know, and if that's you, then please feel free to reach out to me, send me a private message. I'm happy to have a chat with you and help you figure out what those love blocks. Yep, that's right. Hashtag love don't stop. It does not. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to get on here really quick and just share this advice with you on some really great ideas to have some first dates, even though we're in the middle of a global pandemic. Everyone who's out there, please stay safe, wash your hands, you know, take the precautionary measures. If you don't need to go out, then don't go out. You know, I'm beating a dead horse, but I just want to be able to say it because you know what I mean? Like, we all have a part in this, and we can all make this go quicker by doing our part. So thank you so much for watching. If you have single friends who are wondering whether or not to date, what are some great first date ideas? How do I date during a global pandemic? Please share this video with your friends. Share this on your timeline. I hope that this message serves them, and I hope that it serves you. You have any questions, put a comment below. And if you're looking to work on you, to work through your dating blocks, your fears, if you fear you're sabotaging yourself in dating, send me a private message. I'm happy to have a free consultation with you. Until the next time, I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, no matter what's happening. Please be grateful that we get one more day on this beautiful earth. And remember, every day is a new day to reignite your relationship, even the one with yourself. Take care, everyone, and I'll talk to you later. Ciao.